Welcome everyone to the Racing Readers Early Literacy and Empowerment Guide playlist on YouTube. And I created the playlist because even though the guide is 2 hours long or a little bit over 2 hours and it has a whole lot of information, it covers the principles thoroughly, there's still more examples and more things that we can go over. And I didn't want to make the DVD longer than what it is. It would raise the cost of the DVD, so I wanted to supplement it with an online piece. Also, for those people that were not able to get the guide, it's only $5. But if for whatever reason you weren't able to get it, people can still have this supplement piece at no cost, and so that's why I created the guide. Now, I'm very excited about this guide because we have a literacy crisis, a low literacy crisis. Our children are not reading at grade level and they're not reading proficiently. They're graduating without reading proficiency and with reading comprehension levels and with the ability to write and just think and analytically. It's just not happening. And schools are not equipped to handle this problem because of a number of reasons, and I go through that in the DVD. But what we can do as parents and as community members is take ownership of literacy instruction, especially if we start early. It's really, really hard to solve a problem inside of school. And if every fall, if every year, we get hundreds of thousands of more children that are behind and are not equipped, it's like we're never stopping the hemorrhaging. But if you give children a good foundation before they get to kindergarten, they will be sounding out words or ready to read by the time that they're in kindergarten. What are those? Well, if children have sound knowledge, if they have a developed ear so that they can, if they can hear sounds inside of words, if they can rhyme, if they have proper pencil grip, if they can sit and their bodies are just fit to actually, flip pages, and they understand that their eyes have to move from left to right, or not, they don't even have to understand it, but they have had practice with eyes that are moving from left to right. If they have these skills, then and they have expanded vocabularies and they've been exposed to literacy, they understand, it makes sense to them, it's been built into them for 5 years, well, then you're going to read. If you know what words are, you know their sounds, you know how to read them, you can write, you can hold the pencil, you can hold the writing utensil, and you are excited about reading, you understand that, you have a good attitude about it, it's only a matter of time. If you know the sounds, you know the words, you know what the words do, your eyes are fixed on moving from left to right, that you put those things together and that you actually will read. So if you give this to children early and you wired it into their brains, they will naturally come into literacy, and that's what we want to do. You don't need to put your children in special centers, you don't need to buy special materials, you don't need a bunch of flashcards. Your children 0 to 5 need to learn how to organically come into literacy, and every parent can do that. So what I have done is I've gone through the 7 skills that our children need to have in order to naturally come into reading, and to do that early on before they're 5 and 6 years old. And these are the same skills that we will build on after they're 6, 7, 8, and through their entire lives. The same skills that we build years 0 to 5 are the same skills that even as adults we will need to be able to read complex text. It's the same thing, you just have to build on it and it gets more complex. So what I have done is I've broken them down, 7 skills, and I go through them with you. I explain why each skill makes sense to teach and develop in a child and how to do it in a small child. And we come up with different examples so that you as a parent or caregiver can know what to do. I always say expecting parents to know how to teach children to read just because they read is the same thing as expecting a person to cook a dish just because he or she likes the dish. Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean that you know how to teach a child or another person to do it. And so all we have to do is to make sure that every parent knows how to develop these skills in each child. Now, as a community member, you have to understand that if all of our children, if the majority of the children in a classroom is not achieving, then the education and the experience that your child will have, not just in that classroom, but throughout his or her life, is going to be impacted. So the wonderful thing about this guide is that you get it, you watch it, you connect with the playlist, you connect with the social media accounts, you internalize the information, you learn how to do it, and then you can pass it on, hopefully to someone in your local area. Because we have friends, we have family all over the country, but we do have to realize that each local community is impacted by the performance of their local children. And so what I really seek is that all of us share the information online on social media, but that we take the physical information and we share it locally. And that's really how all of us will be able to leverage and cause change. If we all make sure that we're accounting for each other and that all children come into kindergarten with these 7 skills, children will read. That's it. We will transform the landscape and the experience that children have in schools, because right now up to 80 to 88% of our children are reading below grade level. So if come next year and come 2 years from now, we have entire crops, entire groups of children that are walking into school and are not struggling to read. In fact, they're already reading. That's going to change the entire dynamic. And, if teachers don't have to spend any time looking at children with blank faces that really are not getting it, they're not connected to the information, that's all that instruction time, can be put into our children in another way, because children will know and have already made the connection with literacy. If we never have to spend any time with children that don't have pencil grip, that's time that now can be invested in our children in a different way. If as parents you're not fighting and struggling with our children because you're not getting it, if we don't have those parent-teacher conferences where children start to hear very early on that they're not meeting the goals, we can avoid all that, because now children are walking in and they're reading or ready to read. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're doing. And it doesn't take money. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. It doesn't take flashcards. It doesn't take materials. All that it takes is for you to know what to do. The guide, the playlist does that. It teaches us, parents and caregivers, what to do. And it gives you the ability to share it with someone else so that you make sure that other people in the community, other people in your family also know what to do. I've been teaching literacy and early literacy for 5 years. I've worked with students and parents and, most importantly, teachers all over the country. And we all know what to do. We know that if we develop these 7 skills early on, children will read. So welcome to the Racing Reader's Guide. How you look at the playlist, I have basically put the videos in the same order as the principles that are in the guide. There's seven principles, and no principle is more important than the other. I just pick the order. You really need to develop all 7 principles. So just go through it and make sure that you're hitting these benchmarks, that you're developing these skills, and that you're incorporating them into your child's life every single day. That's all that you have to do. Now, I do have people that have questions about these skills, and what I will do is I will have a question and answer playlist, and so go through this playlist in order and start building your skills with the guide and with the playlist. Go through it in order so that you're getting all of the information, and then also check. So I would subscribe to the channel. Also check the question and answers playlist periodically, because I will have more information, because I will be answering questions that come in through videos so that all of us get our questions answered. And so you have the playlist, which you're on now, follow it in order. And then after that, check periodically for the question and answer playlist that I will add, and that way you get all of the information. As questions come in, I will answer them, I will do videos, I will do more examples, and so that's going to be the more dynamic playlist because it will be updated. And that's it, guys. Welcome to the playlist.